Stop this video right now if you're comfortable being misunderstood, because what I'm about to tell you will strip away 3 habits that quietly destroy your power every single day. Here's the brutal truth. The moment you beg, explain, or apologize unnecessarily, you hand your authority to someone else. Most men do this without realizing it. They call it being nice. Machiavelli called it suicide. If you want respect, control, and leverage in a world that punishes weakness, stay. If not, leave now. Be honest with yourself. Drop a fire in the comments if you've ever apologized just to keep the peace, explained yourself to be accepted, or begged for another chance. No stories, no excuses, just Chapter 1. Why power dies the moment you beg, explain, or apologize. There are 3 behaviors that instantly lower your status in any room, relationship, or hierarchy. They are subtle, they are socially accepted, and they are deadly to power. Begging, explaining, apologizing. Machiavelli didn't hate kindness. He hated submission disguised as virtue. Let's break this down slowly, because if you miss this, nothing else matters. The hidden cost of begging. Begging doesn't always look desperate. Sometimes it looks polite. Can you please understand? I just wanted one more chance. I'll do anything to fix this. Picture this. Someone dismisses your idea in a meeting. Old you rushes to justify it, talks faster, tries to convince. New you stops talking, leans back, takes notes, moves on. Result: old you looks uncertain. New you looks controlled. Here's the psychological truth. Begging flips the power dynamic instantly. It communicates, you decide my worth. Stanford behavioral research found that people who ask for approval under pressure are perceived as significantly lower status than those who withdraw and recalibrate. That means the moment you beg, you lose negotiation leverage, emotional authority, and respect. Machiavelli observed this in royal courts. Those who pleaded were tolerated. Those who stood firm were feared. Now, this one hurts, because it feels reasonable. You explain because you want to be understood. You explain because you think clarity earns respect. Wrong. Explanation is not neutral. It's defensive, and defense implies guilt or weakness. You don't reply immediately. Someone gets upset. Old you sends a paragraph explaining where you were. New you replies later with, I was busy. One sentence, no justification. Harvard Business School tracked over 1,000 leaders and found something disturbing. Those who explained their decisions excessively were rated 54% less authoritative than those who spoke briefly and decisively. Why? Because power assumes legitimacy. It does not argue for it. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote that rulers lose authority the moment they feel compelled to justify themselves to those beneath them. This is the most socially encouraged weakness of all. You apologize to smooth things over. You apologize to be liked. You apologize when something isn't even your fault. But listen carefully. An apology is only powerful when it's rare and intentional. Otherwise, it becomes a habit of self-erasure. Someone interrupts you mid-sentence. Old you apologizes and lets them talk. New you stops talking completely, looks at them, waits. Silence. Behavioral psychologists discovered that silence after interruption causes the interrupter to feel discomfort and often apologize themselves. That's dominance without aggression. Now pause for a second. This next part is crucial. Why these 3 habits feel right but make you weak. You were conditioned to believe. Being agreeable equals being respected. Explaining equals being mature. Apologizing equals being kind. But Machiavelli warned against this illusion. He wrote that men respect strength first, and morality second. And here's the stat that should wake you up. A large-scale social dynamics study found that 78% of people who apologize unnecessarily report being taken less seriously over time. That means your politeness is costing you power. When Machiavelli was exiled and accused of conspiracy, he did not beg for forgiveness. He did not explain his innocence endlessly. He did not apologize to appease weak rulers. He withdrew, he observed, he wrote, and when his ideas resurfaced, they carried more power than any apology ever could. That's the foundation of these commandments. Let's name it. You feel overlooked, disrespected, interrupted, undervalued, and every time it happens, your instinct is to restore harmony. But harmony without respect is submission. This is why you feel drained after social interactions. This is why you replay conversations in your head. This is why you feel invisible in rooms you should dominate. Because you're leaking power in small moments. And here's the cliffhanger you need before Chapter 2. What if the solution isn't becoming louder, nicer, or more agreeable? What if the solution is removing 3 behaviors entirely? Chapter 2. The 3 Machiavelli Commandments. Rules that instantly restore authority. Now we sharpen the blade. Everything in Chapter 1 exposed the leak. This chapter seals it permanently. Machiavelli didn't believe in rules for morality. He believed in rules for dominance. These are not suggestions. These are commandments. Break them, and you weaken your position. Honor them, and people recalibrate around you without understanding why. Begging is not just asking. Begging is asking without leverage. It appears in subtle forms, asking for reassurance, asking for another chance, asking to be included, asking to be understood. The moment you beg, you admit dependency, and dependency is the opposite of power. Social psychologists found that when a person asks from a position of emotional need, the listener's respect drops instantly, even if they comply. Why? Because begging signals, I need you more than you need me, and hierarchies form automatically around that signal. Machiavelli observed this in alliances. Those who pleaded were used. Those who withdrew were negotiated with. You feel distance. They pull away. Old you, I'll change. Please just tell me what you want. New you, silence, space, self-control. Result? Old you confirms low leverage. New you forces recalibration. Why? Because desire is most powerful when it's controlled, not displayed. Replace begging with positioning. Instead of, can you please respect my time? Say, this doesn't work for me. No emotion, no plea, no explanation. Machiavelli wrote that the powerful state conditions, they don't negotiate identity. The more you explain, the more you imply your position is questionable. Your decision is challenged publicly. Old you launches into reasoning, context, justification. New you pauses. That's the decision. Silence. Why this works? It ends the debate. It shifts focus. It establishes finality. Machiavelli warned that once leaders explain themselves to subordinates, authority erodes. Use brevity and timing. 3 powerful replacements. I've decided. That's handled. We're moving on. Then stop talking. Silence under a statement forces others to process, not challenge. You've been here 13 minutes. That's longer than most men can stay focused on anything uncomfortable. That tells me something. You're not here for motivation. You're here for control. Stay locked in. This is not never apologize. This is never apologize to lower tension at the cost of status. There is a difference. A strategic apology repairs alliances. A reflex apology destroys authority. You apologize when someone is upset. You take up space. You speak honestly. You enforce boundaries. This trains people to push you because they know you'll retreat. Someone talks over you. Old you, sorry, go ahead. New you, stops talking, looks at them, waits. Most people back down. Some apologize. Why? Because silence creates pressure. Apologies, release it. Machiavelli understood pressure was a weapon. Only apologize when You clearly violated your own standards. The apology is brief. It is followed by correction, not emotion. Example, shouldn't have happened, it's fixed. No over-explaining, no self-flagellation. That's strength. This next part is why no one teaches this publicly. Because once men stop begging, explaining, and apologizing, they become difficult to manipulate. Sales tactics fail. Guilt tactics fail. Emotional pressure fails. That threatens systems built on compliance. Machiavelli knew this. He wrote that men who govern themselves become uncontrollable by others. Never beg. You remove dependency, never explain. You remove defensiveness, never apologize unnecessarily. You remove submission. What remains? Presence, calm, authority. People begin to listen more carefully, interrupt less, test you less, not because you're louder, because you're unmovable. Here's what will happen when you apply these. At first, people resist, tension rises, silence feels uncomfortable. Then behavior adjusts, respect increases, tests stop coming because humans test boundaries until they find resistance. Machiavelli called this the natural order of power. Chapter 3. Execution. How to live. The 3 commandments without breaking. Now we make this permanent, because understanding power is easy. Holding it under pressure is rare. Machiavelli didn't design principles for calm days. He designed them for moments when your ego is tested, your emotions spike, and your instincts betray you. This chapter turns the 3 commandments into muscle memory. No theory, no philosophy, only execution. Begging, explaining, and apologizing are all attempts to lower tension. But tension is not danger. Tension is leverage. The man who can hold tension controls the room. If you want these commandments to stick, start here. For the next 24 hours. Do not over-justify a single decision. Do not soften a boundary. Do not apologize unless you clearly violated your own code. This is not arrogance. This is recalibration. Next time someone challenges you, asks why, or pushes back, pause for 2 full seconds before responding. Behavioral psychologists discovered that people who pause before answering are perceived as 67% more confident and trustworthy. That pause communicates, I'm not rushed, I'm in control. Silence is not awkward when you decide it isn't. Use silence strategically in 3 moments. This doesn't work for me. Then stop talking. Silence forces acceptance or retreat. That's the decision. Then stop talking. Silence ends debate. Look, pause, continue what you were doing. Silence rejects manipulation. Machiavelli warned that those who rush to speak after making a statement reveal uncertainty. Look at the timestamp. Most men quit here, because this part requires restraint. If you're still here, understand this. You're training a skill that 97% of people never develop. Emotional containment. That's rare. That's dangerous. Stay focused. Before you speak, ask yourself one question. Am I about to say this to maintain authority or to relieve discomfort? If the answer is discomfort, don't speak. This single filter eliminates unnecessary apologies, defensive explanations, weak justifications. Power is subtraction, not addition. Here are replacements that preserve authority. Instead of explaining, that's handled. Instead of apologizing, noted. Instead of begging, I'll adjust accordingly. Short, calm, final. Harvard leadership studies show that brevity under pressure increases perceived dominance without aggression. For the next 7 days, follow this exactly. Notice every urge to explain, apologize, seek approval. Do nothing. Observe. Cut those behaviors in half. Shorter responses, fewer words. Remove them entirely unless strategically necessary. By day 7, silence will feel natural. By day 14, people will adjust. By day 30, it becomes your identity. Expect resistance. People will test boundaries, accuse you of being cold, push harder at first. This is normal. Machiavelli wrote that when power shifts, those who benefited from the old order react. First, stay calm. Silence outlasts pressure. This is why most confidence advice fails. Because it teaches expression, not control. The man who never begs, never explains, never apologizes. Unnecessary sales pressure fails. Guilt tactics fail. Emotional leverage fails. That's why this is never taught openly. It creates men who are ungovernable. Repeat this internally when tested. I don't rush. I don't justify. I don't submit. Say it enough times, and it becomes instinct. Machiavelli believed power was not something you claimed once. It was something you protected daily.